You move to Portugal for more sunlight, more walking, and a better rhythm. Then a gray morning arrives. The apartment feels damp. Your shoes are still wet from yesterday, and the light is so soft that 9 o'clock feels like 7. You tell yourself you will go outside after one more email. At 6 in the evening, you realize you have barely moved. You have spoken to nobody, and a laptop has quietly taken the whole day. That is the part of Portugal's climate nobody puts in the postcard. The weather can be beautiful and still make your sleep, energy, appearance, work, and social life less predictable. Not because Portugal is a bad choice, because a variable environment exposes whether you have a routine or merely good intentions.
Welcome to Moving to Portugal Daily, episode XYZ. I'm Mateus Costa. Today, we dive into Atlantic weather and the climate-proof Nomad Day with practical steps to help you relocate smarter and live better in Portugal. By the end, you will have a one-page plan for handling the ordinary surprises, changing light, coastal humidity, warm afternoons, cool evenings, and the temptation to wait for perfect conditions.
This applies whether you are in Lisbon, Porto, the Algarve, or a smaller inland town. The details will change. Your apartment may be bright or gloomy. Your work may begin at 7 in the morning or at noon. You may love running outside, or you may prefer a quiet indoor routine. The plan is not about forcing one perfect Portuguese lifestyle. It is about keeping a few important decisions from being made by the forecast.
Start with the first decision of the day, when you get up. Before you buy another supplement or redesign your workspace, choose a wake time window that fits your life. Maybe that is 7 to 7:30 on working days. Maybe you work nights and your anchor is closer to noon. The point is not becoming a 7 a.m. person. The point is stopping one cloudy morning from turning into a completely different schedule. Keep weekends reasonably close when you can, but do not turn this into a morality test. A stable range is useful. Perfection is not. Once you are awake, give your body a clear beginning. Open the curtains. Step onto the balcony. Walk to the cafe. Take one block outside before you open the laptop. You are not trying to win the morning. You are giving the day a starting line. If it is raining hard or the morning is unusually dark, use the brightest practical indoor space first and get outside later when it feels reasonable. Pair that moment with water. Keep a bottle where you can see it, so hydration is connected to waking rather than postponed until you feel depleted. If you have a medical condition or specific hydration needs, follow advice from a qualified professional. This is lifestyle education, not medical treatment. Then give the evening a landing. Decide when work is finished. Put tomorrow's first clothing layers somewhere visible. Lower the intensity of the room when practical, and avoid letting a warm afternoon trick you into an accidental midnight. Portuguese evenings can invite you out, which is wonderful. But if every pleasant evening destroys the next morning, the lifestyle upgrade starts charging interest. Now, imagine the forecast has ruined your walk. What happens next? This is where many newcomers lose momentum. They ask, is today perfect for exercise? A better question is, what version of movement fits today's conditions? That question changes everything. On a mild morning, take the longer walk before work. On a hot afternoon, move earlier or wait until the air cools. When humidity makes outdoor training unpleasant, use an indoor backup. Sit to stands or squats, wall push-ups, a hinge movement, and a few minutes of mobility. Keep it simple enough that you will actually do it. Rain is not a plan, and waiting for perfect conditions is not a plan either. Give yourself 3 choices before the day begins. Your ideal might be a gym session, a run, cycling, or a long coastal walk. Your realistic option might be a shorter walk or a 15-minute strength session. Your minimum might be 5 minutes of mobility and easy movement indoors. Choosing the smaller version is not failure. It is how you keep the habit alive long enough to become part of you. The same flexibility helps with food and concentration. On a hot day, you may prefer lighter, satisfying meals and your most demanding work during the cooler part of the day. On a cold, damp day, make the room comfortable enough to support attention. A towel for wet outerwear, a place to dry shoes, breathable layers, and a chair that does not make your body complain can matter more than an expensive productivity setup. And protect the activity that pays for your life here, focused work. Notice what happens in your workspace at different times. Does the room become too warm after lunch? Too dark in the morning? Too noisy when the windows are open? Put deep work where your attention is strongest, and leave lighter administration for the part of the day when heat, tiredness, or background noise makes concentration harder.
Dress for movement between conditions, not for one imaginary temperature. A breathable base, a presentable middle layer, and a light jacket can take you from a cool morning to a warm afternoon and into a breezy evening. Keep one polished combination ready for video calls or an unexpected meeting. You are not standing in front of the camera adjusting a damp collar 2 minutes before a client call. You already know what works.
That is not vanity. It is friction reduction. Coastal humidity, wind, and temperature changes can affect your hair, skin comfort, and how fresh you feel. Give yourself a 2-minute reset before a call or a social interaction. Hair, face, clothing, shoes. Keep a small practical kit nearby. Clean, well-fitting basics and consistent grooming often create more confidence than a complicated wardrobe. Also, do not let a beautiful view turn you into office furniture. If you sit in the same cafe or apartment for 3 hours, stand up before your neck and eyes send a formal complaint. Every 50 to 90 minutes, take a short reset. Stand, drink water, look into the distance, and move for a few minutes. Small daily habits create big lifestyle wins. There is another cost of bad weather that is easy to miss. You stop seeing people. You say, I'll go when it is sunnier. Then, I'll practice Portuguese when I feel more confident. Then, I'll join something after work calms down. Those sentences sound sensible. Repeated for 3 weeks, they become an apartment, a laptop, and a delivery app. So give connection a recurring address in your week. Have one small Portuguese interaction in real life. Greet a neighbor, order a coffee, ask a simple question, or thank someone with intention. Add one low-pressure local outing, such as a market, a covered cafe, a class, a co-working conversation, or a walking group. Then choose one recurring activity. Familiarity does work that confidence cannot do at the beginning. Do not wait to feel outgoing. Make the first version easy enough to repeat. If the weather turns, use the backup instead of canceling the whole week. An indoor class, a library, a co-working space, a covered market, or a scheduled conversation. You do not need to fill every evening. You need enough repeated contact that Portugal starts to feel inhabited, not merely visited. Let me make this concrete with a common pattern. Imagine Daniel, a remote designer who moved here hoping for more outdoor time and a healthier rhythm. One gray morning, he woke at 9:40 because the room was dark. He postponed his walk until after lunch. Then the work expanded. The afternoon became warmer than expected, and he stayed on the sofa. He missed a Portuguese conversation that evening because he felt tired and underprepared. The next day was not dramatically different. That was the problem. He woke late again, worked whenever inspiration arrived, skipped movement when it rained, and stayed inside when the evening cooled down. After several weeks, his income was unchanged, but his confidence was lower. He had fewer conversations, less energy on calls, and no consistent reason to leave the apartment. He blamed the weather because the weather was visible. The missing structure was not. His recovery was not extreme. He chose a wake time window. He took a short walk whenever conditions allowed and kept an indoor option ready. He placed his hardest work in his best energy period, kept a jacket and clean shoes by the door, and returned to the same neighborhood cafe twice a week. He booked one recurring Portuguese conversation. On rainy days, he changed the plan instead of canceling the day. That is the vacation mode trap. Some people think freedom means having no structure. Real freedom is having enough structure to support the life you came here to build. If your work pays for your life in Portugal, losing half a day to poor sleep, heat, or damp discomfort is not a small inconvenience. If you want community, connection has to appear on the calendar before the week fills up.
And let's be fair to different lifestyles. A fixed early schedule is not automatically healthier or more productive for everyone. If you work nights, care for family, or have mobility limitations, your anchors will look different. The useful question is not, can I copy somebody else's routine? It is, what must remain dependable for my body, my work, and my relationships, even when the weather changes?
Before this episode ends, open your notes app or take one sheet of paper. Write tomorrow's wake time window. Write your first outdoor or bright light moment. Write your movement choice. Write the coolest or quietest block for focused work. Write the layer and grooming reset that will make you feel ready. Finally, write the person, place, or activity you will show up for.
Next to every item, add one alternative. Wet morning? Go outside after breakfast or use your brightest indoor space first. Outdoor workout canceled? Use the short circuit. Workspace too warm? Move the demanding task to the morning or find a cooler location. Clothes feel wrong? Use the prepared layers. Social plan disrupted? Keep the indoor option. A backup is not failure. It is how a good routine survives real life. Keep that page visible for 7 days. Do not score yourself on whether every choice was ideal. Score yourself on whether you adapted instead of abandoning the day. Adjust for your region, your home, your work hours, local forecasts, mobility needs, and personal health. If persistent fatigue, sleep problems, or other symptoms concern you, speak with a qualified healthcare professional. Your routine should support appropriate care, never replace it. Portugal rewards preparation. That preparation is more than a visa, a housing search, or income documentation. It is knowing how you will begin an ordinary Tuesday, when the light is gray, the air is damp, and your motivation is somewhere else. Build the foundation before you arrive, or rebuild it quickly if you are already here. Then let the climate work with you, instead of quietly working against you. If you want help turning this one-page experiment into a complete relocation routine, explore the Nomad Life Success courses and lifestyle design framework. Use it to map the same kind of anchors for housing, income organization, communication, habits, appearance, and community, so your move does not depend on motivation after arrival. The goal is not to control Portugal. It is to remove enough friction that steady progress becomes the normal option. That's your daily Portugal blueprint. Start applying one thing this week. Choose your wake time window, prepare one weatherproof movement option, and put one real connection on the calendar. Optimize your life while you relocate. Portugal isn't just a destination. It's your optimized new beginning.